Come on! Is it working? I think it's working. I can't tell. Hello, guys. I tried to do this earlier in the day, and I was gonna stream for a little longer, but it just wasn't working. I just couldn't get my Wi-Fi to work. I'm in a new place, obviously new setup, which is kind of a fusion of the two old setups. And yeah, the internet here is not as good as the internet at my house was. So, the stream earlier today didn't work, and I think it's gonna be like, if you remember back in the old days, and the only person I know was here for that was 154, Godzilla 154 would probably remember. Back in the old days, my internet was so bad I actually couldn't even live stream with video. I had to just put a still image on screen. I'd live stream to that. And so, hopefully, this works. Oh, thanks, Mike. Yeah, it went fairly well. I haven't gotten everything moved over. The piano I need to bring the piano over, but other than that, everything went well. But thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. It's good to see you again. This would have been so much better in GXK. Thank you very much, Mark. Marco. I appreciate that. I have not thought about really being a composer, but I've composed for some short films, and it's been fun. But yeah, not my jam. I'm not great at that. Thank you very much, Legendary Meme. I appreciate that. Glad to see everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Yes, this is the first stream in the new location. Once again, just like I said in my 10 years later video, I'm not going to be posting too many videos in this location for quite some time. I still need to get it all set up. Like, I want posters back here, and I want it to be a little more lively in the background. But I wanted a live stream mostly because this is where I'm at as of right now. Especially because, like, I've got, finally, after all these years, got some lighting on some of these shelves, which I was pretty excited about. I could only afford lights for 2 of the 4 shelves. I have 2 shelves left that I need to buy lights for. But I did, if you can see this, I did string up the King Kong shelf with a bunch of vines and stuff, so it looks pretty gnarly. And then I do want to get some lighting for the up here. This room's actually incredibly dark. Like, I have a lamp, I have the overhead light, I have a lamp, and then I have my ring light. This room's actually incredibly dark. And so I need to get more lighting because I want it to look a little cooler. Maybe I'll get the gamer lights too at some point when I can afford it. Get some gamer lights for the desk, and that could look neat. But for now, this is what we've got. Seems so far the stream's doing okay, which is nice. Nice change of pace from earlier when it was doing horrible. Have you seen the 12-inch Mothra figure? I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen the pictures of it. I saw when it leaked. I saw when those pictures leaked. That was pretty interesting. Saturn Dusk's taking credit, saying it's his karma. He was driving an hour back from an appointment when I was originally trying to stream, but now I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here, Saturn Dusk. I did see you in the earlier chats, but I'm glad you're back home now. I hope your appointment went well. What's good? What's good, Kaiju fam? Thank you, Legendary Meme. I appreciate that. Hi, Kaiju guy. Godzilla 154 is remembering the audio-only streams. Those were very fun days, but I'm shocked that people would find that entertaining enough to sit through. What's up, Jeff? I'm doing alright. I'm still recovering from COVID, which has been pretty brutal, and it's the reason I haven't really been posting, because COVID's been kicking my ass, but I'm doing a little bit better right now. You what? Entertainment Corner's watching from a bar? This sounds like you got better things going on than this. You should have a good night, man. I hope you have fun. Any new videos coming? Yes, Punisher. I do have some new videos. I was working on one today, so that hopefully will be going out. I think what I'm gonna try and do until I kind of find some balance in my life, just because I'm still recovering, and I'm also, like I said in my 10 years later video, I am working in the film industry now, which has been awesome, and it's been really exciting. But until I can kind of figure out my balance, I think I'm gonna dial it back on uploads and try and go, like if I do if I do one long form day, then I'm gonna do a short form day following. So probably will be more alternating between shorts and long form. I know it's been a lot of shorts at the moment. It's just because, like I said, I am still recovering, but I think because tonight I did manage to pull off a live stream, I'm gonna go live stream tonight, shorts tomorrow, and then the next night I'll post my first proper videos, and then I'll start to get that rolling, and then I'll fall into a schedule there. At some point, I do want to make streaming a reoccurring, very frequent thing we do. Probably, I don't know if weekly, but maybe every other week at the least. I do want to get into streaming more, so hopefully that is something we can do here. That'll be fun. I have some ideas for some streams. I'm going to rip off one of my favorite streamers. I won't say who until I get everything set up, but I'm going to rip off one of my favorite streamers. I love him. I love his content. And I also know he'd be totally chill with me borrowing his ideas. And I'm not borrowing his ideas directly. I'm just taking, like, he covers very different types of stuff. He's not in the Godzilla space at all. But he's very nice, and I know he'd be totally chill with me adapting his style of stream for this channel, which I'm excited about. Oh. What's up? What's up, King of Kaiju? Is the shirt is the shirt a hint to any new videos? It is not, but it is a new shirt. I got it for my birthday. I think it's pretty rad. I'm a big fan of it. I love it. It's also textured, which I always kind of love when shirts are textured. It gives them a very different feel. I just think it's awesome. But yes, I'm a big fan of the shirt. Welcome back, D-Man. How are you? Hey, James, I'm doing all right. How are you doing? Yes, Southeastern Kaiju, I'm on the move. When are you going to get the 12-inch Mothra Playmates figure? Well, Isaiah, I haven't seen it yet. I've gone to Walmart's. I've looked. Well, to be honest, I'm not doing great financially. You know, moving's a lot, and I need to find a more stable work in the film industry. But yeah, I don't really have the money to put into figures like the Playmates figures. If I see the 12-inch Mothra, I'll grab it, but I'm not hunting it down. Same with the Tiamat. I just don't have the money to hunt those things down. I'm out $2,000 that I should have had. I don't really have an issue saying it. I've been treated very poorly, but Anime Matsuri owes me $2,000 from when I went, and I need that money. And so, you know, I can't really buy figures until I get my reimbursement. I have full faith in them that I'll get it. It's just taking a little bit of time, and I'm a little frustrated about the lack of transparency there, but I do still have faith that things will work out. They will. They just will. They've always done right by me. So there's no I'm still holding no ill will. I think many people I've spoken to definitely are, but I'm not. I just wish there was a little bit more transparency and communication why they are not reimbursing me. Thanks, Jeff. I like the new setup as well. Like I said, it's kind of a fusion between the old setup, the original setup, and then the one I was in that office. How's it going, Calico Williams? I don't ever know if I say your name right. Yeah, Saturn Dusk, I'm doing all right. I've mostly recovered, I would say. Every day is a little off and on, but so far I'm doing all right. Love the snazzy new setup. What's up, Brayton? What's going on? MST3K versus Gamma Round 2. Love the snazzy new setup, digs, and congrats on 10 years in the YouTube racket, young sir. You are officially ancient now. Isn't it wild that when it just feels weird to me because I still view myself as kind of the new guy around. Like, I haven't been around as long as Rob. I haven't been around as long as Andres. I think Matt's been around a lot longer than me as well. And then you get into like real people in the Godzilla space, like Norman, who've been around for way, way, way longer than me. And I still feel like the baby on the block. But then it is weird to think that I've also been here for 10 years, and there are other guys I've seen pop up recently that have risen to big popularity very quickly, and it's weird to see them just appear and have this massive success all of a sudden. It's interesting. I'm glad to hear the stream has stabilized. You look like a more adult version of young Sheldon than the actual Sheldon Cooper. It's great. What does that even mean? Legendary meme. Wouldn't that just make me old Sheldon? That is the craziest thing ever. I have an idea to mix the Mothra motif with Pride from -1. I don't know music theory, but I would want to learn. That very well could work. I'd have to listen to those two songs together, especially I'd have to hear kind of where your placement is. But I could see you could pretty much mix most songs as long as you transpose them into the right key signature. You got the mini Mothra and the wing stickers are all messed up. Wait, there's a mini one? I didn't even know there was a mini, Childish. I didn't even know there was a mini. I only knew about the big one. Sup, D-Goat? Long time no see. It's only been 2 days. What's up, Scott? What's up, Scott Pilgrim fam? That's funny. Is the Playmates Godzilla 2004 same mold of Bandai? It is not. I actually have a review for that. Is that posted? I think it's posted. I'm pretty positive my review of that thing's posted, so you can go check that out. How's it going, Green Chicken? The days you used to stream for 5 hours. Good old days. What's up, Godzilla King of Kaiju? Sometimes I still stream for a long time. It just kind of depends on the stream. Yeah, man, COVID's kicking my butt, Jeff, but I appreciate it. I appreciate your nice words. Pleasure to meet you, sir. Name's Robzilla, fan of Godzilla's. How do you do, sir? How's it going, Robzilla? I hope you're doing well, man. Congrats on 10 years. Here's to more fun. Thank you very much, Sen. I really appreciate that. Senjukai? Senjukai. Thank you so much. We were all young. I swear, I guess it's mostly people around the same age wanting to interact in the age before Discord was a big thing. Oh, on the live streams? Yeah, I see what you're saying. All of us back in the day chilling out with the audio only. It was kind of very like, that's a good way to think about it. It was very intimate, like very Discord core, just sitting in the group chat with the boys. It was a lot of fun. I really miss those old days. What? Legendary meme, bro, I've seen you up close. I know that bed isn't big enough for you. You're a giant. So I assume you met me in person. The bed back there, it actually barely isn't. It basically isn't big enough. I kind of have to lay at an angle in order to fit on it. But if you see, it actually, I don't have room for a bigger bed in this room. That's the bed that I could get for this room. So I had to stick with the bed that I've had since I was a kid. That's fair. You keep up the good work, D-Man. You've got this, dude. Thank you very much, Rob. Tim Pool. I don't know what Tim Pool is. I don't know what 3C Films is either. Saturn Dusk, I have not checked any DMs lately. I've been a little preoccupied. I don't have any Halloween themed content this year other than if I can, I have a solo review for you recorded. You know what review it is. I was doing podcast styled reviews individually for those. And I'm really trying to convince the people that I did the first recording with to come back for that. So I hope that I can do that for, I hope to post those in October. Other than that, I don't really have a total, I don't think I'm going to do anything for October this year just because I've been so busy. I haven't had any time to pre-prep anything for October, and I don't want to try and kill myself trying to get a ton done. Nice tea, where'd you get it? This, I believe it's from, what's that store called? It's the one at every mall. Hot Topic. It's from Hot Topic. What are your favorite design elements from each incarnation of Godzilla? Ooh, that's an interesting question. I think my favorite design elements from the Showa series would be the spine shape. Well, because they were kind of all over the place in those films. Favorite design element. Not really a design element, but I liked how active the tail was back in the Showa series, like how much it moved. It moved a ton, which I love. It did in the Heisei series as well, and then it kind of tapered out and stopped moving as much. I guess, can I just say general silhouette? Like, they sure nailed what Godzilla was the first time around. And then the Heisei series, I really like the face that they've brought to Godzilla in the Heisei series. Millennium series, probably the exaggerated proportions. I really loved how large the spines got. And then the modern era, I don't think you can really transpose any elements from Shin Godzilla or the legendary Godzilla onto the originals, but I think both those designs are pretty peak in and of themselves. And then I think that the -1 design just is the best design they've done for Godzilla. Super 7 relationship. I don't have a like in-depth relationship with Super 7. I have an affiliate link so that if you buy from Super 7, you can use my link and I can get a small commission from it. I need to actually like put that out there into the world so that people know that, but I have a, I think I need to see if it's activated, but I should have an affiliate link. I just need to see if it's activated. I found the blue Godzilla with the plane at Walmart today. It's pretty cool. That actually is the only New Wave Playmates figure I have. I have recorded a review for it. And I have some mixed thoughts on that thing. I hope you do better financially, bro. Money is expensive, not only currency, but in energy. Yes, legendary meme, it sure is. My question is, have you seen Yamazaki's design for the Ultra Monsters from Ultraman The Ride? I have not, actually, Sen. I have not seen any of the Ultraman The Ride designs. The way they treated you is really crummy. Even if they reimburse you, it's not a good look at all. Oh, I haven't even begun to share a fraction of the way I was treated this year. There was an employee that I really didn't think treated me well at all this year. It was not one of the owners, but it was just an employee who I really didn't appreciate the way he treated me, and yeah, I'd have a lot more to say depending on how they handle this reimbursement. I was lucky to grab the new wave of GXK figures. Tiamat is awesome, and I'm sure you'd like the new Kong with the axe. The Kong looks really cool, and the Tiamat looks awesome. Yeah, I'll have to check those out whenever I see them in stores. What's up, Acno? How's it going? Congrats on 10 years and the 10 years later video approaching 10,000 views. Symmetry at work. Thank you very much, Saturn Dusk. I think it's really funny. YouTube now has this 3 thumbnail thing you can put out. So you got 3 thumbnails per video. And then YouTube picks whichever one's the most popular. And I put 2 that I actually really liked the thumbnail of, which are very similar to the thumbnail for this live stream. The thumbnail that people decided to go with, the one that was just the most popular by far, is also the very clickbaity one. The one that I actually don't really like, so I think that's funny that that one wound up winning. I think that's the worst thumbnail of the 3 of them, and it wound up winning by far. I love those shelves. Really neat setup, man. Thank you very much, Marco. I really appreciate that. How old were you back 10 years ago? When I started the channel, when I started doing YouTube, I think I was 10 years old, and the first time I ever did a YouTube video, the first time I did a video on this channel, I think I was 11 or 12? I think I was 12. Hey D-Man, remember me? Hyperstar Edits? Not from the username, but maybe if there's like, if we've met or if there's an interaction. Oh, sorry, I wasn't on the live. Yeah, Hyperstar, I don't remember usernames as well as, like, I tend to remember profile pictures a little better. Unless I see you in the chat over and over again. Like, I recognize, I recognize Isaiah, Marco, Legendary Meme I've seen comment, Childish, obviously, my name Jav, Godzilla King of Kaiju. A bunch of these guys are regulars for the live stream, so I've seen a bunch of these guys a ton. Yeah, the Mini Crystal Wave 2 is out. Suko, Doug, Mothra, Warthog, and Godzilla pre-evolved. Kong Without the Beast Glove. I didn't know there was a freaking Crystal Wave 2. That sucks. I don't want to buy more of those crystal things. Those things are expensive. That's so funny. I didn't know that. So on to figures. I was looking for some Godzilla figures for Christmas, and I really... and a really cool looking one is the Mezco Godzilla 1954. Have any of you heard of it? It looks really nice. Mezco. Those, didn't they discontinue that line recently? I think I know what brand that is, and it's the same brand that did the Destroy All Monsters set, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember, but I do know the name. I'll look him up. Let's go. Let's go Godzilla 1954. Oh, that one looks really cool. That reminds me a little bit of NECA from the photos. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Not in any rush to get that, just because, again, I'm down a lot of money. I think I was kind of going to go to Japan again until I've been until that $2,000 has been withheld from me indefinitely, and now I won't be able to go to Japan again. So I'm a little upset about that, amongst other things, but yeah. They still have time to do right by me. Has your opinion on Planet Eater soundtracks changed since you reviewed it 5 years ago? Probably. I remember I thought it was a little bland at the time. It was a little repetitive. I think the soundtrack for Planet Eater is pretty decent, with some really incredible standouts on it. There are some songs on that soundtrack that I think are just wonderful, and then on the whole I think it kind of is on the more medium end. Discord is the best, no cap. Well, to each their own. I'm really horrible at using all these social medias and stuff. I've actually really pulled back. I'm not on Instagram anymore. I'm barely on Twitter, thank God. Discord, I try to check in on the Discord community every once in a while, see what's going on there, and then other than that, yeah, I'm really not into the social medias at all. I'm starting to rewatch Monarch, and I feel Kentaro was a really big douche. I'm kind of on Cade's side now. He just seemed really insensitive during her panic attacks. Marco, I rewatched Monarch probably an inhuman amount of times, way too many. I've watched Monarch Legacy of Monsters all the way through enough times to get sick of the show. I think I have seen it like 6 times all the way through. And I still hold the opinion that Kentaro is a really solid character who's very believably written with very human flaws, and then for 2 episodes he just completely changes character, and then they get him back on track. But for those 2 episodes I find him to be very frustrating, and I also feel like a lot of the characters shift radically from episode to episode, and I do think that is a result of the directors changing every 2 episodes. For instance, the split from episode 6 to episode 7 I think is a little just like crazy sloppy how they handled some of those character transitions. Kate in particular I think is a very poorly written character overall as a result of her inconsistencies. She starts out the show a little bit of a jerk. You kind of learn why, which I really like, but then she completely changes 180 from episode 6 to episode 7. Goes from being like, I hate May, this sucks, to suddenly being May's best friend in the entire world. And I don't think that makes sense at all, given where we leave her off. But yeah, I guess all that to say, I find the character writing to be a little inconsistent from time to time in that show. So it's fair of you to think Kentaro's a douche. I think he is a douche. For 2 episodes, I feel like he very randomly is a very different character. And I also feel like there's 2, like, what is it, episodes, Episode 5 in particular, he like is the comic relief all of a sudden, which he never was before, which I didn't really like that either. It felt like it just kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. Oh, thank you very much, Rob. Yes, I am self-taught on the piano. I love playing piano, and I haven't been able to do it enough now that I don't have one. But hopefully I'll be able to bring it over soon. All right, take care, SP. I hope you have a good night. If turned the bed the other way, you have room. I have the same size room as you. That's not true. Well, I mean, it would be in the middle of the room if I do that, which I don't want. I wanted the bed against the wall. If I turn it, it'll be just pointing way out. It'll actually wind up coming out in front of these shelves, so it'll create this really weird walkway in the room. Or I could turn it and shove it into the corner way back there, in which case I displace a bunch of the shelves that are there. Okay, bye, bro. I've got to go. Hope you do well. Thank you very much, Legendary Meme. Man, it's been so long since I've actually interacted with the Godzilla community. What's up, Tony? I hope you're doing well, and I feel kind of the same. Also, I know I'm really behind on the chat. Sorry, I'm taking my time today. But yeah, I hope you're doing well, Tony. It's nice to see you again. It's nice to see the mods back in action. They gotta mix GMK with the -1 design in the next Takashi Yamazaki film. Well, I don't know. I don't think the GMK design's proportions necessarily fit with -1. Did you get the Super 7 minus color? It's pretty cool. Biollante and Dark Horse Godzilla are the only other Super 7 Ultimates I own. Well, I feel like I did order the Super 7 minus color and the Super 7 -1, but strangely, I only have email confirmation for the minus color, who did arrive. I haven't unboxed him yet because I'm still getting the room set up. But I did get him, and I think I am going to put that unboxing. I'm going to expedite that one just because it's so relevant that I think I will review that thing maybe even a little earlier than I post any of my other videos here, just because it is such a hot topic at the moment. But I did get it. I haven't seen it though. But I think Super 7 does wonderful work. Their Dark Horse Godzilla I think is amazing, and their Biollante set I think is just incredible. The only Playmates figures I'm interested in is Tiamat, mostly due to the fact that I might not get any more toys. Yeah, Tiamat, that's really cool. I think that Playmates actually made a Tiamat. I just think that's awesome. And that is the one that I'm most interested in. Although I do want the Mothra. In fact, I kind of want 2 of them so that I could repaint one of them to look King of the Monsters style. I'm still waiting for my Super 7 in the mail. Damn, man. Everything else, Haya is gonna get me. Is gonna get me by. I don't have any Hayas yet. I have ordered a couple, but again, all figure ordering, everything like that's gone on pause until Anime Matsuri gives me my very owed reimbursement. I can't really be buying figures at the moment. I just don't have the money for it. Keep up the great work, D-Man. Thank you very much, King Jess. What's up, Nuclear Goji? The previous thumbnail in your Shinji Nishikawa video with the Godzilla 2000 was my favorite. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I put out 3 thumbnails. It's just according to the statistics what people prefer, so YouTube kind of picks for me, and then I don't really have to think about it. Have you seen the Stan Winston Godzilla design? I sure have, and I think it's a pretty good one. I'm excited. I'm so excited that I'm a regular now. Holy crap. What's up, Marco? I'm glad that you've been able to pop in enough for me to get to know you. The Mezco Godzilla has been delayed like 3 times. It was supposed to be out last year. It happens sometimes. Sometimes there's licensing issues. Amazon has New Empire on sale for $9.99. Purchase UHD. Nice. You were 14 when you started YouTube. Forever 14. No. Was I? No, I think I turned 14 and then I stayed 14. Is that not the lore? I can't remember. I stayed 14. I do know that. I am still, if you're wondering, I'm still 14. I've been stuck. I've been held back a few years, but was I think I was 11 or 12 when I started YouTube. I think it was 12. Anyone here crazy enough to ever to order every Marvel Comics Godzilla variant cover? Holy crap, I didn't even know they were doing variant covers. For Marvel Comics? I did not know they were doing variant covers. I still need to collect the individual issues, period. Have you ever been to Kmart before? I sure have. Kmart used to be the only store that I could get Godzilla toys in when I was a little kid. Daikaiju Tony, you're out of your mind, man. Word on the street is Mezco might be losing the license due to these massive delays. What was Mezco the one that produced the Destroy All Monsters figure pack? Because I thought they lost the license already, but maybe that's a different company who I never got any of their figures, but I've always wanted those figures. What's up, Ezilla? Some of the variants are already out now. It's one Godzilla variant for nearly every Marvel title. Oh, it's not for the... Oh, I do know what you're talking about. Yes, I haven't seen any of the variants, but I did hear they were doing that. To be honest, I have been offline for a long time now. I have not been keeping up to date with news. I have not been keeping up to date with anything Godzilla, so I really haven't seen any of the covers. I showed my dad Godzilla -1. He loved it. He liked the more grounded feel to it, and it was also, and he was also a pilot back then, but he served in the war, but now he's retired. Well, that's really awesome, Godzilla Kaiju King. I'm glad he liked it. Everybody I've shown the movie to, they loved it as well. Sound and Dusk, there is no need. There's no need for somebody to donate to that tier again. It's already wild that you even did that in the first place. Did you ever watch Terminator 0? I just watched the first. I have not. Are you excited for Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2? I sure am. Yeah, fighting for the variant covers can be quite time-consuming and also expensive. How do you feel about multiple Monarch spin-offs being in development? Any ideas what they could be? Well, I've heard quite a bit about these shows. I've actually heard quite a bit about the future of Godzilla in general. I've heard some big rumors about what Toho's up to next. I guess I'll see if those come true, but I've heard big rumors on that. That sounds very exciting. I've also heard quite a lot about the Monsterverse films. TV shows, and from what I understand, I think it's basically what they've already said kind of on the internet. As I understand it, there's obviously Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and I think it's going to be a more, I don't know this, but I think it's going to be a more Skull Island-y centered project, which I think we all expected. I don't know that for a fact, though. Daikaiju Tony going crazy on the comic books, man. You are the comic book guy. That's what I know you for. That and your Spider-Man cosplay. Well, among other things. That's not all I know you for. Obviously, I know you personally, but that is what I think of when I think of you as your comic booky stuff. And I also think of the fact that you made that. I'm pretty sure it was you made the most aesthetically pleasing Godzilla, following all the people freaking out over the Shin Godzilla design reveal. And I actually think that's how we met, was because I stole your meme for a video. Yeah, I agree, Godzilla 154. I would love more consistent directors for Season 2. I don't think we're going to get that. I don't think we're going to be getting that. And yes, I would love a Blu-ray for Legacy of Monsters. Southeastern Kaiju, thank you so much for the super chat. Now you're just 1998 in the hole. JK, dig your content. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I'm hoping that they reimburse me soon. That it'll be really unfortunate what will have to happen if they don't. That will be really bad. Should I watch the new Ultraman movie? I only heard of it because of people thirsting for the human from IDK. IDK's name, Ken Sato, you mean? And yes, you should watch Ultraman Rising. It's a great movie, and watch my review for it too, because it's a great movie and a good review. Anyone ordered the Marvel Godzilla Omnibus? I have not ordered that, but I will be buying them issue to issue. Sleep upside down like a bat and you'll solve the bed problem. Very good idea, or I could just get like a hammock and hang it from the ceiling and sleep in that. By the way, this is me, Apex Predator. I just changed my name. Nice, Godzilla Kaiju King. Congrats on 10 years. Thank you so much, The Constant Bloom. Have you considered doing a ranking the Monsterverse characters, including the Kong Show and Monarch? I sure have, and I hope to do that at some point. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Maybe I'll do that as a live stream, because that could be a fun live stream. Man, I need to get some shelves for my figures. Acno, go for it. It's good stuff when you can finally get them out of a box. It's good stuff. I feel like you look like Tom Hiddleston mixed with an emo singer from 3 Days Grace. Well, that is a really nice compliment, and I'll take it. I appreciate that. I'd love to look like Tom Hiddleston, especially James Conrad era Tom Hiddleston. As soon as Elegy from -1 plays in the background is when D Man coughs. It's because I'm dying, man. When will you return to G-Fest? Acno, I don't have any money, so not anytime soon. How's your day? Nuclear Goji, it's going well. How's your day? Senjukai says, I feel like the argument of taking the films one brick at a time is for the Monsterverse has shortened. Okay, I gotta read that again. I feel like the argument of taking the films one brick at a time for the Monsterverse has shot itself in the foot for Phase 2 of the Monsterverse. I don't know if it's... I kind of agree. I don't think they need to do a full Marvel level layout telling us the next 15 movies in the Monsterverse. But I do think behind the scenes they need to decide right now, where does this phase of the Monsterverse end? I think that's all they need to decide. Where does it end? They don't even need to know how many projects to get there. They just need to know what the ending is going to be for this phase. And then they can work their way to it so that there's an actual point to this universe. Because I agree, Sen, it's directionless and it's aimless right now, and there is a way to fix that, and it's as simple as figuring out where this next phase is going to end. That's all they need to do. Hayamuto's hit Big Bag Toy Store today, waiting for them to get to my Street Sharks pre-order before I hit ship. I don't know what Street Sharks is. But damn. If I had money, I'd be going straight for the Mutos, because I would love the Mutos. Haya's Mutos look great. By the way, D-Man, I was looking through your channel. I noticed you did a review on Neon Genesis Evangelion 5 years ago. I have to ask, were you scared of the series' dark moments while you watched it? There was nothing in it that made me scared, but I was quite uncomfortable with some of the sexual content in that show, and I did acknowledge that in my review for the show, but nothing in it, I would say, nothing in it scared me. I did find it to be an upsetting show at times, which is the point, and I think that they did their job very well, and it worked very well. I actually liked that aspect of it. But yes, I like that show a lot. I see. We're checking in on the lore, Godzilla 154. Good for keeping me accountable here. So so that's where the 14 comes from. It's nice to know. Funny enough, I'm in the same boat where I'm trying to cut back on buying figures, especially since I barely have any shelf space. That's definitely my new issue, is now that I'm in this new place, this is all of the shelf space I have, and I've already used all of it. So I don't know what to do from here. Funny enough, I'm in the same, I already read that part. I barely have any shelf space, but I still bought stuff like the Amazing Spider-Man 300. Well, we all have those moments. Yes, Mezco did those small sets. Well, they were not small. They were awesome, and I loved them. They were not small. Weren't they bigger? The Destroy All Monsters, the Godzilla vs. Hedorah, weren't they like normal 6-inch size? Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Am I the only one who remembers when Jax Pacific spoiled Burning Godzilla being in the Monsterverse? You're not the only one who remembers that. But I might be the only one who's incredibly nostalgic about that day in particular. I don't know why. Making that video, and I was all disappointed about that and all frustrated about that. I just have like really strong memories of that. And that was a really wonderful little era we were in. I didn't really appreciate how enormous the channel was and the hype was and how exciting everything was back then. I think I took it a little for granted. I'm afraid I might get nightmares while watching the series itself. Well, Hyperstar, it's up to, it depends on what type of content you're exposed to and kind of what age you are and all that stuff. I think that if I had watched Evangelion 5 years before, I probably would have been a little scared by it, but I watched it when I was old enough to not have that. My personal favorite Marvel variants are King Ghidorah versus Galactus, Shin Godzilla versus the Avengers, and Captain America riding his bike into GMK's mouth. Well, I have to look these up. I remember asking you on a live stream, and since it's out, have you seen the new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie? I think Wes Ball can be a good director for a Monsterverse movie. I have seen Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and much like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and Godzilla Kong the New Empire, all the movies that have Empire-related titles, Kingdom, Empire, whatever, I feel all suffer from the exact same movie. I feel all of them suffer from trying to do two different, distinct movies in the same movie. Whether it be literally New Empire and Frozen Empire both trying to cram a Frozen Empire plotline into a New Empire movie, or whether in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes be introducing us to the new ape colony and also introducing us to the new human subplot. I feel all of the movies wind up stumbling over trying to do too much, but I think Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes handles that stumble the most gracefully, and I think it is the best movie of all three of those. I thought Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was very good. I think there's a lot of potential for the future, and I agree, Wes Ball could probably do a very good job for a Monsterverse movie, especially a Kong movie. I was 15 when I started YouTube back in 2016. Man, Superfan X was cringe. Don't worry, man. Looking back at my old content cringes me out, and I'm not incredibly proud of the like myself until probably very recently, which is how I think that's a good thing. That's how you know you're growing and reflecting, and I don't think you should look back on your past and be like, oh, I did everything right back then. That just shows that you haven't been self-reflecting. I also got 1 million views, almost 2 million views on that channel with only 5 subs. Also, I was the one who invented crazy titles. I don't know how you pulled off those feats. TBH, I feel like the song Pain fits a lot more in the scene after Godzilla nukes Ginza when Shikishima screams. This might be crazy, but I find elegy to be overrated. Well, Marco, I disagree with both of those things. Are you excited for the next Monsterverse movie? I am excited for the next Monsterverse movie. I'm most excited that it's going in a brand new direction, and it should be very fresh and exciting. That's gonna be good stuff. Oh my god, I remember that crappy Photoshop I did. Wow, that really takes me back. God, I hate my past self. Why, man? That's how we met. You can't undo that. Also, I think I still have that photo. I'm pretty positive. Maybe I don't have it saved. That might have been before I was actually saving pictures, but I kind of feel like I still have that picture. If I have it, I'll tweet it. I don't see it saved. I have Top Hat Shin Godzilla. I've got Bowling Pin Shin Godzilla. I've got Never Skip Arm Day. I've got the buff one where they made him buff up top. I've got the Did I Hear You Just Say Frick on My Christian Server Shin Godzilla. But I don't see the aesthetically pleasing Godzilla. Unfortunate, man. Damn. I will still have it somewhere on my computer, but it is not a saved file. It would be in a PowerPoint presentation, which is what I used to make my videos on, if you remember. Greetings, what's up, T-Rex? As a callback to last year, are you and the boys going to check out Transformers 1? We are not going to check out Transformers 1, but I do have the other half of the Transformers thing that I will be working on soon. Have you kept up with The Walking Dead? If so, what do you think of the direction the show went in the end? You know, actually, I canceled, or my parents canceled cable when I was in the middle of season 10 of The Walking Dead, so I never got to finish. But I did get The Ones Who Live, and I watched that, and I thought it was very good because I had already seen where Rick's story ended off, so it was time to just jump right back in with my main man. And I liked that show a lot. I thought the very last episode was 90% good, and then the last like 20 minutes of that episode just really, it feels like they ran through a season 2 in 20 minutes, and I found that to be really underwhelming. Alpha Dragon Warrior, or Alpha Dragon Wolf, why can't I see your full name? Why is it not showing me your full name? Alpha Dragon Wolf Alpha Dragon Wolf Warrior, I think that's your name. That's all it's showing me. I apologize about that, but thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Hey D-Man, love the new room. I hope you're feeling better. Thank you so much, man. I'm glad you like the new room, and I'm feeling all right now, which is good. I was not feeling well pretty much all day today, but I'm feeling all right now, which is nice. Godzilla -1 is the one Godzilla movie where I wasn't totally obsessed with speculating about it online 24/7, and it did pay off, since now it's among my top 3 favorites. Yeah, Godzilla -1, my only complaint, if you remember when I saw the movie for the first time, my only complaint was that there was nothing in the movie that I couldn't have already figured out from the marketing itself, and I was a little underwhelmed with that. But other than that, I thought it was such a perfect movie. You should turn up your microphone. Okay, how's this? Is this a little better? I turn up my microphone a little bit. It's always hard when it's a new setup, so the microphone has to be adjusted again. So, yeah, thanks for letting me know. I don't know what thematic sense is going to guide the Monsterverse Phase 2. Phase 1 was about man being put in place by nature. Even Godzilla vs. Kong, the most cheesiest out of the Monsterverse Phase 1, had themes of man wanting to be. Like the Titans, I'm assuming. Like the God Titans in terms of... Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, that is the follow-up if you're coming. Had man wanting to be like the God Titans in terms of Mechagodzilla. Phase 2 seems to not really have anything going for it in terms of overarching plots that I can see, but I like your stretch here to say that it might be family. Yeah, GXK I don't really think had any thematic weight at all as a movie. I'm excited for Monarch Season 2 because we're going to focus on Skull Island and Kong, and I hope they tie into the Skull Island, the birth of Kong, and Skull Island anime stuff. I don't think they're ever going to tie into the Skull Island anime because it isn't canon, regardless of what they tell you. And I would love for them to tie into the birth of Kong, but also, those comic books are not really canon, unfortunately. But they don't really tell you that. I feel like the Monsterverse isn't going to get a proper conclusion. It's going to run itself until people get tired of it, and then it'll go dormant. I kind of agree. Just buy more shelves. Sam, where am I putting them? Where are they going? There's no space for shelves anymore. There's just no space in here. There's no wall space open for any shelves. We need a full King Kong or the Apes review. That's more scary than Evangelion. Oh, I see what you're saying. We need a full Kong King of the Apes review. That's more scary than Evangelion. Childish Landino, that is so scary. I've never made it through that show. I've tried multiple times. I can't get through it. I also couldn't get through the King Kong 90s animated show either. I thought that was really rough. The Mezco sets were 4.5 inches tall. Ah, I see. Just a little shorter. Street Sharks is an early to mid 90s cartoon riding the TMNT wave of popularity, with 4 brothers being turned into humanoid sharks in like a very time the fly. Well, I don't know what Street Sharks has to do with anything. I forget the context of that comment, but I'm glad you gave us the update. I've used up all my shelf space as well. It's a shame, man. It sucks when it happens. There needs to be a Titan. I don't think there needs to be that. Marco, I don't think we need that. No Titan poop for me. Alright, you guys are saying maybe turn down the music a little bit. I can turn down the music a little bit. And I'll turn my mic up a little bit more. You'll have to let me know how that is. Again, I don't... You guys gotta let me know because it's... Well, now it's showing that it's peaking. So maybe I'll turn it just a touch down. How's it going now? Is it good? I don't know. I just have one shelf. I need more shelves. Get more, Jeff! Did you ever watch Goji 73? Nick Howlitz, I think, and some other OG Goji tubers as a kid. No, Sam, I actually did not watch any. I'll tell you, the OG Goji tubers I watched was obviously James Rolfe, who isn't really a Godzilla YouTuber, but his Cinemassacre Monster Madness paved the way for so many of us. And I watched the Sons of Serizawa. I watched Zazubar, Gorizard, Adam Noyce, Kaiju Noir, Super DM64. That was the group that I watched. And that's who got me into Godzilla YouTube. That's why I started doing this channel, is because of those guys. Hey, D Man, does it feel like we'll get any more major monsters outside of Kong and Godzilla? Feels more unlikely with the way they treat Godzilla being more sidelined. I don't know why people kind of say that. Godzilla has had more screen time in Godzilla vs. Kong than in any other Monsterverse movie. Monarch Legacy of Monsters entirely hinges around Godzilla. Godzilla is still the #1 marketing dude. Godzilla is not the most used character in Godzilla Kong the New Empire, but he also just didn't have a compelling story in that movie. And so therefore, Kong was the one who we spent the screen time with. I really don't understand where people are saying the Monsterverse is only Kong. Of course, Kong does pop up in the Skull Island anime. That's obviously about Kong. Of course, he does cameo for 2 seconds in Legacy of Monsters, and then he has New Empire. And I guess that new video game coming out. But Godzilla's the one who still gets more comic books and stuff. So I don't really understand the thought process that we have more... That Godzilla has been completely sidelined. However, I will say, I don't think it's unlikely that we will get more Toho monsters. We had Mothra. We've had a Toho monster in every single Godzilla film. Godzilla's obviously in 2014. Then King of the Monsters goes crazy with Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah. Godzilla versus Kong, we get Mechagodzilla. Godzilla Kong the New Empire, we get Mothra. I think this next movie will probably get Mothra again, if I had to guess. And I also know, but I don't really know who, but I do know there was a plan to bring in 1 or maybe more Toho monsters into future Monsterverse films. And I think those plans are probably still around. I think they're probably still going to work more Toho monsters into the Monsterverse. Don't be surprised if more Toho monsters pop up. I think there was a couple that were going to. I need shelves to actually put things on. Saturn does. Go out there and get some, man. Pain is actually the track I thought was going to be after the destruction of Ginza. Once I first saw the movie in theaters, I was pleasantly surprised to be incorrect. Pain is used at correct times in -1, and it plays 3 times throughout the movie, so I don't think it needed a 4th iteration. If I can recommend any Marvel comics right now, it's definitely the new Ultimate Spider-Man. It's literally the best serialized Spider-Man comic series in decades. Well, that is great to hear. I am in need of some good Spider-Man content. I don't know anyone who still has cable. Yeah, I don't know anybody who does either. As for DC, I'm hoping their Absolute title, starting with Absolute Batman, is good. It's basically their attempt at their own Ultimate Universe. I don't read DC comics, and I have no interest in them. What are your thoughts on the decision with Carl in The Walking Dead? I think it was an enormous misstep. I think that is the biggest misstep that show makes. I can't believe it's been 10 years since 2014. What's it to ya? I completely agree. It blows my mind frequently. If I directed a Monsterverse movie, which it probably won't happen since I'm more of a music guy, I would put in a similar song to Pain during a mental breakdown scene after a Titan attack. Well, that I wish the Monsterverse would do more of. I wish it would focus more on the human impact of the Titans, but they have moved away from that as they've tried to market the films more towards a wider audience. Will the next Monsterverse movie or Toho movie finally be the one to give us the 2 Godzillas? What could it mean? This has been building up for over 10 years now. From what I've heard in both scenarios, I don't think so. I wish. The best Godzilla comic we've gotten in a while is Monster Island Summer Camp. I haven't read that one. It's a Minya adventure. That's all you need to know. I think I bought the first issue of that, but or maybe I haven't. Ooh, I can't remember. Maybe I just saw it online. But I am aware of that one, and I'm excited about that one. My username is ridiculously long. It's not you, D-Man. It's all good, Alpha Dragon Wolf Warrior. I don't know if there's anything else that comes after that. That's literally all it shows me. It actually only shows me Alpha Dragon Wolf WAR. So I'm assuming that next word is warrior. Jurassic Flow, what's up? He says, awesome. If they do more spin-offs in the Monsterverse, I hope we get an animated series set in prehistoric times with no dialogue, with legit With legit canon, no Skull Island BS. Imagine Neanderthals battling skull crawlers. Well, I don't know if they'll ever do anything like that. I don't think an animated series, a full animated series, I'm not interested in that. I'll watch it for sure, but that wouldn't be my jam. I would like a animated short. That sounds really great to me. Or even a live action short set in prehistoric times. Shorts are an underrated medium. D-Man says the Kong anime isn't canon, just wait until Annie is the protagonist of the next Monsterverse movie. Okay, Godzilla King of Kaiju. I'll take you up on this bet right now. If they ever bring Annie into the Monsterverse, I'm willing to bet the character absolutely, in only the vaguest possible ways, resembles the character from the cartoon, and they will have so many erroneous, you cannot overlook them, continuity errors about the two characters, like how Li Sha is supposedly the same character as Sha from Godzilla Awakening, even though Li Sha in Legacy of Monsters' simple existence completely unravels, undoes, and decanonizes the entire Godzilla Awakening comic. That's all I'll say. Just remove your bed and add more shelves. Sam, you're a genius! I don't know how I didn't think of that earlier. Glad to see some Street Sharks love. That's pretty fun. And seeing the Titan War in action. Godzilla King of Kaiju. I'd love to see the Titan War, but you'd have to figure out which one, because the Monsterverse hasn't even figured out which one. They contradict what the Great Titan War was in every single movie. What are your thoughts on Godzilla Final Wars? I like it a lot. Excited for the new Cloverfield movie? EK, I actually just rewatched the original Cloverfield, a movie which I really, really hated from when I was a kid, and I actually liked it quite a bit. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I'm really excited for a new one. I don't think Cloverfield's a great movie, and I think the found footage, in many ways, makes the movie, but also, for me, breaks the movie. I still feel that way. I think there was a way to do it more compelling. I think they did it very well, but I think that there was a way to make that movie more satisfying as a viewer, and that was just to show the monster a little more. But on the whole, I liked Cloverfield quite a bit on this rewatch, and I would be very down for a new one. I forgot about the Street Sharks. Jeez, I feel old. I love that everybody's just talking about freaking Street Sharks now. And I can't understand why Neon Genesis Evangelion was uncomfortable for you, D-Man. Asuka was basically the fan service material of the series, and as well as Misato, I think. You can't understand why? You just said it yourself. Asuka's a child, and they made her the fan service character. Go for it with Misato all day long. Go for it with Ritsuko all day long. Go for it with the adults, and I'm all for it. I do take issue with it when they're sexualizing minors. I think that was a big mistake of that show, but I also understand it plays into the show's core thematic values, and so in some ways I think it was appropriate. I am not the biggest fan of that trope of anime. I think I don't like that. I don't think that's a thing that they should have done. And that goes for pretty much every anime. Even if it is core to the thematic exploration and the emotional journeys of the characters, I think there's ways to do it that are not as gratuitous as the show does it. It's good to see some Cinemassacre love. What's up, Sam? Glad to see you loved those two. I think probably everybody here did. I feel some old comments from one of my old I find some old comments from one of my old videos in my email. That's always kind of fun when you can dig into an email and find a bunch of comments from forgotten videos. I do that with those Ultraman videos, Ultraman versus Way Big videos every now and then. Oh yeah, seeing some more Cinemassacre love here. Anyways, have a good night, bro, and good luck at the new crib. Thank you very much, Sam. I hope you have a good night. We got a great Oscar-winning Godzilla solo movie less than a year ago. We're not starving for Godzilla content. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're starving for Godzilla content at the moment. Anyone else getting these really annoying ads? Alpha Dragon, I have my... it should let me send the ads out. I don't know why it would be giving you ads. I did set the settings so that I should be the one to pick them, and I haven't set any yet. I haven't turned any on. Unless it just decided by itself that it was just going to send them out anyways. I did turn that feature off. So I do apologize about that. If you rewatch the video, if you watch it when it's not live anymore, there should be ads probably every 5 minutes, but that's just for the rewatch. They should bring in more Toho kaiju since Toho keeps co-producing the Monsterverse. I agree, and I think they will. I don't think that there's any reason they wouldn't. All I want to know is, how is Rodan doing? Wondering if he still has a hole in his shoulder from being shanked by Mothra. Godzilla, King of Kaiju, I'm wondering that as well. And if there was one Toho monster I could bring back to the Monsterverse, or just into the Monsterverse period, it would be Rodan. I think he has so much potential, and I thought he was such a wonderful character, and I don't think they even began to scratch the surface with him. So that's a character I would bring back, and I would bring him back before I would introduce the character like any other monster, any other Toho character. I'd bring him in. I'd bring Rodan back first. I'd focus on developing the world that is at hand, rather than trying to force new canon into the Monsterverse, which they've never been great at. I wonder what the narrative direction they're going in to take Suko with. I would expect them to kind of move away from him, unless Wingard comes back. That'd be my guess, is that Suko will probably be sidelined. Two things I watched a lot when I was very little was Cinemassacre Godzillathon and Brandon Tenold's Godzilla reviews. Yes, my name's Jeff. That's another creator who I wouldn't really consider him to be a Godzilla YouTuber, but I watch all of Brandon's Godzilla content. I watch all of Brandon's videos. I actually supported him on Patreon for years when I had the disposable income to do so. I love Brandon. I think he's a great guy. He's always been incredibly nice to me, and I will support that dude wherever he goes. Did you hear on November 19th, 2024, there will be a Godzilla -1 Blu-ray physical? I did hear that, and I'm excited about that. I think I heard that they're going to do a Steelbook, which is cool. We're all going to make it to it. We're all going to make it, bros. Yes, we sure are. What are your pitches for a Monarch Season 2, considering it's going to be focused on Kong? And how would you feel about Keiko going... how would Keiko feel about Apex's plans, considering she loves the Titans? She might even have a connection with Kong. Hassan, I actually don't really have any ideas for where Legacy of Monsters Season 2 would really head, other than the search for Lee Shaw stuck in Axis Mundi. I think that's the natural development of the show, and then I also think just continuing to build up Mechagodzilla, build up to Godzilla. You know what I would do? I would build up to Godzilla King of the Monsters a little more naturally. I would put a lot more legwork into developing Monarch, their presence across the globe, building them as an organization, discovering the Titans, making sure that my show doesn't contradict with canon the way that it did in Season 1, because, oh my gosh, what are we doing? That's what I would do. Saturn Dusk, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that, man. Do you think they'll ever do more comic... do you think you'll ever do more comic reviews via shorts? The world needs your reviews on Godzilla Skate or Die and that Kong Great War miniseries. I think that's a great idea, and that is one of the ideas I have had for a while now, which is to review more of the comics in shorts. And then when I review the full arc issue by issue, then to put those together into like a review. Like at some point, I think I'll go back and re-edit those Justice League reviews into a video that can go out. I think that's a great idea. I would love to do that. I wish the Godzilla -1 soundtrack had included the happy little tune that played during the Good Times montage. Well, Rob, I heard that they're going to be releasing an extended Godzilla -1 soundtrack soon, and that might be on it. I don't know if that'll be on it. That kind of felt like licensed music. Kind of felt like it was completely out of the rest of the film. But I never saw in the end credits, I never saw them credit that song. So it very well could be on the extended album. If we get another Godzilla in the Monsterverse, it needs to be Minya, or a poorly cropped JPEG of Minya being dragged around. I couldn't agree more, but it should be Junior. It just should be Junior, but I want it to be Minya. In Godzilla Summer Camp comic, you'll be surprised Minya's new skills. Interesting. Marco, that might be one for the ages. That's a good quote right there. You should make that your senior quote in high school. I guess I'm just a poop lover. I don't want Kong to take a dookie in Season 2, but that's, to each their own. If we get Minya in the Monsterverse, he will probably be thrown around by Godzilla just like what happened to Suko was thrown around by Kong. I don't think so. Godzilla no longer really has stubby arms, so it very well could happen. Very well could happen, actually. I was going to say Godzilla doesn't have the arms for that, but he does now. And Godzilla would. Monsterverse Godzilla would be abusive to anybody, just period. Anybody, other than Mothra, I guess, which in a way of its own, that kind of is abuse. Godzilla's not a great dude in the Monsterverse. I just wanted to say that I love you did a whole series in the Monsterverse continuity as a whole. I'm a continuity nut. SW Legend, Star Wars Legend, is a love of mine as a result, and so it was nice to see someone give that time and love to the Monsterverse. Well, thank you very much, Granny. Thank you very much. I loved doing Monsterverse May. It was kind of a big gamble because the series took so much work and time, and it really didn't pay off. But I really appreciate the support on that. I'm really proud of those Monsterverse May videos. I wish they had done better. I absolutely loved the King of the Monsters. I absolutely love King of the Monsters. I almost feel like Ghidorah should have been kept for a later. Yeah, we all think Ghidorah should have been kept for a later movie. But I'm glad we got King of the Monsters when and how we did. Maybe a Monsterverse final boss. What do you think about him being featured and being beaten in the second film? I do think that they kind of jumped the shark a little early, but I love King of the Monsters and I wouldn't change it. So it's kind of one of those. Especially since the aspect of the Monsterverse tends to not get any positive attention when discussed. Granny, going back to the continuity, I'm all here about continuity. I'm the big continuity guy. If you listen to my Godzillathon reviews, that was one of the biggest things I was harping on in the Showa series and that I was praising of the Heisei series. And I'm a big continuity guy, and it matters a lot to me, and I wish the Monsterverse took better care of it. I really hope we get a new Toho Mothra in some form in the future. I totally agree. I hope as a solo film. As a major Monsterverse Mothra hater, boo. Mothra's great in the Monsterverse. I need Toho to properly utilize her in some capacity again that isn't a glorified cameo. Fair enough. I do agree with that. I wish the Iwi turned out to be followers of Scar King, and that twist, they were evil, making it more tragic, paralleling Kong being treated poorly with his kind. I completely thought that that was going to be the direction they headed, giving Gia the same moral dilemma as Kong, but then they didn't give Kong a moral dilemma, and they actually weren't really concerned with that at all in the movie. And I'm actually glad the Iwi didn't turn out to be evil. KDM had put that out there into the world that the Iwi were going to be evil followers of Scar King. That was at least what he was implying, and I'm glad that didn't happen. So maybe that was a rewrite. As far as I'm aware, though, it wasn't. I think the Iwi were always good as far as I'm aware. So I'm glad they didn't go that direction. The first Cloverfield movie was notorious for causing motion sickness. The theater actually put a sign warning people of that. I did not have that issue watching it the other day. Anyways, I gotta get going and do some cleaning. Congrats on 10 years. Well, thank you very much, Tony. I hope you have a good night. You don't mind if I recommend fan fiction, do you? Well, I won't really read it. I'm not a big fan fiction guy. I rewatched Singular Point after not enjoying it the first time, and I love it now. That's great to hear. Jalen? That's great to hear, Jalen. I love Singular Point as well. I'm more starving for Criterion to release a complete Blu-ray set of the Godzilla Heisei era movies. Me too, man. Me too. I love a good Blu-ray set of those. Well, that sucks to hear that you guys are all getting a ton of ads. I turned the ads off for this stream, so I don't know why. Rodan and Mothra are the homies. They sure are. I usually don't either, other than occasional car. Oh, you guys are talking about motion sickness. I just realized we might see a very young Gia in season 2. I didn't even think about that possibility, but you're very correct. We very well might. I will pre-order tomorrow night Godzilla -1 Blu-ray. Nice. The movie was a gun rewatch. I think you mean fun. Oh, you did. The movie was a fun rewatch. I think I like it more as an adult. I liked Cloverfield more on a rewatch as well. Did you see the poster for the official 10th anniversary Godzilla Fest and are there secrets in them? I have no idea what that means. 10th anniversary Godzilla Fest? Is that what you're talking about? I didn't see a poster for that. What's up, D Manager? I'll have to pin your comment. I saw your text. I have to pin your comment. I feel like Hedorah is one of those kaiju that doesn't get enough attention for being in the Monsterverse. You just mean like people talking about wanting him in the Monsterverse? I've heard a lot of people talking about wanting him in the Monsterverse, whether it be Michael Dougherty or Adam Wingard or whoever, just fans. I've seen that a lot. He doesn't need to be an alien for my pitch. He has a multicellular bacterial organism made in a lab. I think that if you are going to bring in a character like Hedorah, you would change the origins quite a bit. Or Space Godzilla in particular. Like, I can't imagine doing Space Godzilla as anything but like a cross between Ghidorah and Shimo and Godzilla. I can't imagine doing it as an actual Space Godzilla. That would just be the worst. Godzilla Jr. is a lazy-ass name, I can't lie. Minya is 4,000 times better, 40,000 times better. We love Minya, man. Yes, Jr. is kind of a lazy name. All right, I'm going to go to bed soon. One last question. Me and my friend are going to start making stop motions on YouTube channel, and I was wondering, D-Man, have you ever made any stop motions? My name's Jeff. Yes, I actually have made stop motions back in the day, and I never really continued. I don't know why. I did I think my like 2,000 subscriber special is stop motion. I think my 500 subscriber special was stop motion, and then I think my 2,000 subscriber stop motion special. And I should have kept at it. Alrighty, good night, Jeff. Also, I got 38 cents raised, so instead of getting paid $15.54 an hour, I get paid $15.92 an hour. I just found out 2 days. I'm really happy about that. Great job, Acno. We love to hear it. Good job on the promotion, man. That's great. Or the raise, I guess. The raise. Speaking of Junior, how do you feel about the Junior design versus Destroya? I really appreciate how ferocious yet adorable it looks, just like his father. I think the Junior design in Godzilla vs. Destroya is absolutely peak. I think it looks incredible. Nice to see some love to D-Manager. Hope you get back to the Godzilla-thons again. Those were so fun to listen to. I have so many memories of them. Godzilla King of Kaiju, the reason that I have not made any more Godzilla-thons, maybe you guys could just right now free me of the arbitrary restriction I put on myself. But the reason I haven't is because I don't have Photoshop anymore, so I don't have the software to do those little drawings. Those little drawings that I did for the backgrounds, I haven't had Photoshop for a while now, and so I haven't done any of those drawings. And so for the final few episodes, I just felt like it would be weird to switch the aesthetic at the very finish line. So I never did any more episodes of it. No. We love Waspro. We love Mothra in the Monsterverse. You're boo you, man. Boo you. It will be interesting to see Kong in the first trailer of Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2. Why would he be in the first trailer? I guess because he shows up at the end of Season 1. I guess it'll be interesting to see if they put him in the first trailer. It would be exciting. I wonder if the first episode will start where the last episode leaves off. I would expect a little time skip would be my guess. If Godzilla loses his license in the future, I'm going to make a remake of Monster Island Buddies. Well, Godzilla technically will lose his copyright in the future. Or not his copyright, but it'll fall into the public domain at some point. Well, maybe not, because he's from Japan, so I don't really know how all that works in Japan, but King Kong at least will. He sort of already is, but what are your thoughts on it being canon that Godzilla X Kong Mothra is the mother of King of the Monsters Mothra, according to Adam Wingard? Well, that's a statement that's been contradicted already. So originally originally we didn't know the relationship. The novelization implies that it very well might be the same Mothra. Wingard seemed to throw out the mother answer in an interview, which I think was a very lazy answer. Like, it didn't really line up with what we like. Where'd she come from? How'd she just spawn out of dust? It doesn't make sense with the lore we're given, but I accept it. At least it doesn't really bump into or mess up any of the canon of King of the Monsters too much, so I will accept it, and it's good with me. I'm all for that. The film's Godzilla, but I do think it's funny that people still ship Godzilla and Mothra in that movie. Like, oh, Godzilla's looking at his crush like he's back together face to face with his love after she died all those years ago, and this is just not the same Mothra. I think that's hilarious. I think the ship culture is so cringe and so silly, and I like to see whenever they take an L. The films Godzilla vs. Kong and King of the Monsters should have been swapped 100%, not only for the obvious more time spent in the Monsterverse world and getting more lore set up for King of the Monsters, but how unique a Zilla, Kong, Mothra versus King Ghidorah would be. I like that Godzilla vs. Kong was the grand finale of Phase 1, but I do agree that King of the Monsters in many ways does feel a little rushed. Yo, just joined. What are we talking about? We're just talking about whatever's in everything. KDM completely fell off right after Godzilla x Kong came out. God damn. He kept claiming a lot of the leaks were concept art, only for a lot of the shots to be in the Chinese trailer. Yeah, and if you actually go back and compare tweet to tweet, like, you know, when I do my news roundups, I read every single tweet posted from the month that I'm doing the news roundup for, and a lot of the tweets just wound up like wildly inaccurate to the final film. They just wound up not being correct at all, like it supposedly connecting directly to Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and then it did not. I'm gonna get the toy shown in the Woodbridge, New Jersey to get Japan Godzilla merchandise. I don't know what you're referring to, but that sounds awesome. I'd love a classic Godzilla year collection where it's all Showa Heisei Millennium movies in a single collection. That sounds like something they do in Japan, and that also sounds like something that would be very, very expensive. I think it would be interesting if the Monsterverse decides to bring in Bagan from one of the Godzilla games, Crystal Axe or Obsidian from Godzilla Unleashed in the future Monsterverse films. Well, I don't think we're ever going to see Bagan. I don't think we're going to see him. Not anytime soon. I don't think we're ever going to see him in live action. Maybe someday way down the line when a fan of Godzilla and a fan of Bagan gets to become a filmmaker and make a movie, maybe then we'll see it, but not anytime soon. I saw the original Rodan last week, and it was alright. I love that movie. I was disappointed that Rodan theme wasn't used in it. The Suitmation was really good, though. I love that movie, and I love the Rodan theme in that movie. I think that movie is just wonderful, and I think it is truly, truly underrated. I think it's a great movie. I just saw a tweet from KNO on Twitter of a poster. Sorry if I was not clear. Oh, I'll have to check that out. What's a worse name, Junior or Baby? Baby was the worst name. Let me check what Kaiju News Outlet posted. Let's see what this poster is. I see the King Caesar poster. I don't see a... Oh, here we go. The official poster for the 10th annual Godzilla Festival has been released. The event will be held in Tokyo Midtown Hibiya on November 3rd. And I was supposed to be there before Anime Matsuri withheld my reimbursement of $2,000, of which they do owe me. And they really owe me. They owe me big, and I'm not happy about it. I was supposed to be there for the 70th anniversary, and I can't anymore because of that. I don't see any Easter eggs in here other than the, yeah, I don't see any hidden details here. The last Godzilla logo we see is Godzilla Kong the New Empire. I'm actually really glad to see they put the American Godzilla logos in here. A lot of the times they just skip those and they don't put them in. Although I don't see those cheeky little guys. I still don't see Godzilla 1998 in here. Oh, I do see it. It's hidden. It's hidden right by his big spine. Okay. Well, I think that poster looks pretty kick-ass. For anybody who doesn't know, it's a poster of the Godzilla Festival. It's just got 70 written in red text. It's got the 1954 Godzilla standing in front of it. And then in the 70, it's the title card logo for every single Godzilla film. Pretty cool. I remember the stop motion specials. Well, yeah, you would. You've been here forever. You and I are like the oest of G's. Those were a lot of fun to make. I wish I had kept at it. I just didn't have time. It just was really, really time consuming. The sequel portrays Shimo having trust issues. She doesn't like many of the other apes other than Kong and Tsuko. Kong leaves her alone, but decides he needs her in battle against Camazotz. Well, it sounds like you've got like a whole fanfic going on, which is pretty dope. I don't think Camazotz would... I think Kong would handle Camazotz completely fine on his own, especially now that he has the axe, and really especially if he keeps that beast glove. But I'm very interested to see how they balance Kong, Suko, and Shimo in the next film. I think they're just going to have Kong leave Suko and Shimo at home. Godzilla Jr. infinity times more than Minya. Waspra fans will fall. Maybe someday, but not right now, damn it. Hey, D Man, I wanted to say that if you remembered that Space Godzilla... I wanted to say that if you remember that Space Godzilla with melting flesh and tendrils in one of the videos I made that art, technically I wasn't related to the Monsterverse. It was my own project. I'm still thankful that you shared it. My art has improved a lot. I think so. It was like a body horror Space Godzilla, am I remembering? Wasn't it? Was it red? I can't remember. Where would I have put that? If it wasn't technically Monsterverse related. I'm checking all my fan art folders right now. I see the Tenderly Shin Godzilla comic. That was a kick-ass fan comic. That Shin Godzilla Kong Gamera freaking crossover comic that went just crazy. I don't know. I do save all the fan art that I show off. It would just be in this giant it would be in this giant folder of fan art where it would take me forever to find, but either way, I'm glad you appreciate the shout out. I always love to show off artists. I always love to show off people from the community. I always love to show off the good work that all the fans do, because fans make incredible art and I like to show that stuff off. I think it's really awesome. So, question for you. What are your overall thoughts on the Skull Crawlers? Do you think that they were wasted or were they used well? I think they were used very well in Kong Skull Island, and I think having them as cannon fodder for Godzilla vs. Kong made a lot of sense. I wish they had appeared in the background of New Empire, but I like them a lot. I think they are wonderful creatures. They're some of my faves of the Monsterverse, and I think they're awesome. By the way, speaking of Monarch, shout out to Anna Sawai for winning the Emmy for Shogun. Yeah, she's a wonderful actress. Crystal Axe and the Crystal Kaiju, and Obsidian, the volcanic kaiju from Godzilla Unleashed. It would be unique that the Monsterverse also used original video game kaiju from the Godzilla games. I recently referenced those guys and said that they both need Bandai Movie Monster series figures, and people seemed to hate them. So I think the Godzilla community does not share your opinion, but I like those two characters. They bring me a lot of nostalgia. Gia just used a command to summon Mothra and GXK like you do in Minecraft. She sure freaking did, man. She literally went into creative and just spawned it. It was ridiculous. How you been doing? White, I am doing all right. I'm a little exhausted from being sick and from moving, and from, in many ways, being robbed of $2,000. But other than that, I'm doing all right. What are some of your wackiest Godzilla theories? I don't know, but nothing will ever beat the time that I collaborated with CJ Destroyer Gaming way back in the day, leading into Shin Godzilla, and he theorized from nothing but the length of the tail alone that Shin Godzilla would shoot lasers out of his tail, and I at the time thought that was the most ridiculous thing I had ever heard, and then it happened. Just crazy. No Baggin. I hope he forever stays obscure and irrelevant. I think Baggin staying irrelevant is a lot funnier than Baggin getting his time of day, so I agree. I agree about that. I still refuse to believe that's Mothra's mother. I still think that that's the egg from Godzilla King of the Monsters. I don't think that's the egg from King of the Monsters. It would start out as a baby. It would not be full grown. They got to make a new monster to get along with Gigan in the Monsterverse. We're at a Megalon-type cyborg with a chicken-like form with two large maser cannons as arms. I would call it Lardacon. Brothers got a full fan kaiju made up. Good for you, man. You should draw a picture of it. I hope Baggin's on-screen debut is in a Godzilla anime, a sequel to the Netflix animated movies. I hope it is too, and I hope it's just the corpse in an opening montage and we never get to see it on screen, but that the novelization just gives us the most incredible backstory for Baggin of all time with this wonderful fight sequence that they never adapt on screen. That's what I hope. Does anyone remember where he was called Little Godzilla? I sure do, in Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. It's a cute name. The upcoming Godzilla Fest in Japan this year is also when they will show the next Godzilla short film, where it picks up after King Ghidorah lands and Godzilla and Jet Jaguar team up. It sure will, and I was supposed to be there before Anime Matsuri withheld my reimbursement of $2,000 for over a month, an incredibly shady thing for an organization that has plenty of money to do, and they should have plenty of money because me and the boys went and we spent at least that much money while there. What the frick? The stream could be titled D-Man stream, but he gets progressively more upset about the fact that a company he's been with for 5 years decided to abandon him the 5th year and treat him like absolute garbage. How do you think -1 would look in the sequel? Like -1, but like really, really scarred up. Yeah, I've been wondering if I should go public with that information, along with the absurd amount of other things that occurred this year and over the past 5 years that I could have mentioned and never did, because I'm, you know, generally speaking, I try to be professional, but, you know, I like my professional integrity, and again, they could easily make it up to me, and I'll be all for it, and then it literally will be okay as long as I get paid. I'll forgive and forget everything else. But the fact that they have ghosted me for an entire month about this reimbursement, other than telling me one time that I was going to get paid 4 weeks ago, and then another time telling me that it was just so expensive. Why was it so expensive? And the reason it was so expensive is so absurdly not my fault. Other than those two pieces of communication, I have been completely left in the dark, and it's really upset me. Will you do a stop motion movie if you hit 100,000 subscribers? I will not do a stop motion movie, but there's probably some other things that I could do to celebrate. I don't really know. I might hit that sooner than I'm able to do a big celebration, but I don't think I'm going to do any stop motion films anytime soon. However, I have written a script for a film that I want to make. Because if you don't know, I did go to school to be a filmmaker, and I work in the film industry now, and I'm trying to get my foot in the door, and I would love to make a film like proper that uses some stop motion in it. I've written a script that I think is really fun. That would utilize stop motion, but I would not be doing it by myself. It would not be Godzilla, nothing like that. The 1954 Godzilla film hit so much harder after I recently watched the documentary of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Makes the movie all the more haunting and timely. Absolutely. That movie is just a wonderful film, and there's a reason it has persisted for so long. On the Space G talk, I think in the Rivals comic, he does some heinous shit that was spoiled on Facebook for me if you're picking that series up. I have not read that series, but that sounds awesome. I feel like why the Monsterverse isn't going to be big like the MCU, because the main draw being monsters aren't like humans, which we connect with as much. I completely agree. I think that is absolutely the reason. It is a lot harder to connect to monsters, especially for the mainstream, and so I don't think it will ever reach the likes of the MCU, and that's okay, because Godzilla has never ever had that type of mainstream popularity, and it's okay. We don't need to compare it to the MCU. It isn't the MCU, and it won't ever be, and that is alright. The box office for the Monsterverse films should not be comparable to the box office to the Marvel films. If the Marvel films have a box office in the range of the Monsterverse, that's a bad day for Marvel. If the Monsterverse had a box office in the range of the MCU, that would just be the most incredible thing to ever happen in the history of Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? If you were to get licensing for specifically 3 kaiju, including Godzilla, how would you end up directing the film, the theme, what kaiju would appear? You don't need to use all 3, the overall plot. Well, I won't spoil anything, because if I got to make a movie, then you'd get to see it. I've got a few ideas that I loved. In fact, I pitched an idea to Shinji Nishikawa while I was at Anime Matsuri with him. Thank you to Anime Matsuri for granting me the opportunity to meet these people and to make the connections I've made. I really appreciate the time I've had with that company, and that it truly means the world to me, and it is the reason that I would be willing to forgive and forget every single thing that I was upset about, as long as they do right by me. But I pitched to Shinji Nishikawa while I was there an idea for a Godzilla film I had, and he was so excited and was like, oh my god, you will not believe this, but I had the exact same idea. And that was a very, very exciting and cool moment. Do you expect a complete, although that to be said, I don't have any delusions here that I'm going to direct a Godzilla movie. That's the dream, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'll keep it a secret just in case it does, because otherwise I wouldn't want to spoil it, but I've got big ideas that I think would be cool. Do you expect a completely new cast for the Monsterverse movie, or do you think they'll bring back at least one character, a la Serizawa in King of the Monsters, Madison, and Godzilla Kong? I think that there might be one character or so that could pop up, or maybe even bring back some of the King of the Monsters cast or something like that. But from what I've heard, and I don't know the legitimacy of this, but I would expect at least some of the actors would not return if Adam Wingard doesn't return with them. And that's to say, I don't think Adam Wingard's out of the count. I think he will probably be back at some point, and I think that those characters will be back with him. But I would expect that there's some loyalty to the director going on. What do you mean you were robbed of $2,000? Well, I have not been reimbursed for my recent trip to Anime Matsuri, which is why all Anime Matsuri content halted abruptly right in the middle of it, right when we were doing a ton of videos, and right when we were going to just keep ramping up and posting tons and tons of videos, and I haven't been reimbursed, and so they will not be getting any publicity from me until I get the reimbursement. It's just insane that happened. Hell yeah, D-Man, keep driving that point home. I'm probably burning bridges that I probably shouldn't be burning, but it's insane the way I am being treated. I don't know what the hell is happening, but let's shit on that company. Don't shit on anybody. Don't shit on any companies on my behalf. They need to do what's right, and I have faith that it will happen. I'm just wondering when. I'm disappointed that it hasn't happened yet. And I'm frustrated at the way they've been presenting themselves publicly, as if they've got all this stuff going on that they can handle when they can't even handle a reimbursement to me. It's a little frustrating. D-Man, were you ever picked on for liking Godzilla? I remember leaving a tab open. It was like Godzilla Daikaiju Battle Royale, and it was a group project, and two girls laughed at me back in sophomore year. Yeah, I was picked on a lot in middle school for liking Godzilla. I loved Godzilla a whole lot, and I was pretty public about that in elementary school, and then in middle school it was not cool to like Godzilla, and I had to become very secretive of it up until the 2014 movie made it cool to like Godzilla again. I mean, even in elementary school, people picked on me for liking Godzilla, but it was hard to take it seriously when it was a bunch of fellow 6-year-olds. I guess I just never really gave people my age that much credit because I had an older brother who was a lot more influential to me than they were. Although he also picked on me for liking Godzilla because he didn't like Godzilla either. But I won him over. He likes Godzilla now. That's the big win. The problem I had with the Monsterverse were that the movies were not feeling same, especially with the VL vortex. We see Chapman looking at the vortex, but it's red, and GVK it's blue. Monarch show, glad the Monarch show kept that. Yeah, the little stuff like that, Hassan, I don't have a big issue with, like the visual look of, also Chapman looking at the Hollow Earth vent in Kong Skull Island. That's actually cut from the movie. That's just in the trailer. There is a vent in the movie, and it does have a red gleam to it, but you know, the Hollow Earth under Skull Island could be a little bit of a different ecosystem than the Hollow Earth itself, so I don't really have a biggest issue with that. But I am glad they kept the visual consistency from Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I remember Matt ripping AM a new one in a stream when he went that one year, but I've never gone, so I can't speak on that. Matt had a very different experience that year than I did. I had a very wonderful time that year. There were some hiccups that I've never really been public about, again, because I like to think that I'm a professional. But on the whole, that year went incredibly well, and I am incredibly gracious to Anime Matsuri, especially to Denise Lee for that incredible experience. That was a fantastic time. That was a year that I really, really am fond of. I feel a little like I cringe at myself when I think back on that year, but that just shows that I've grown and reflected since then. I don't think I did anything wrong. I think I was just probably a little too overly extroverted that year, and that's all right. But yeah, all that to say, I had a very different experience than Matt. Matt did not have a good time, and he didn't have a good time immediately. I've come to learn a little bit more about the reasons behind the scenes on why the things he didn't enjoy, the things that he didn't enjoy, I found out why they were the way they were, which I have very interesting thoughts about, but again, I'm not going to share that because, you know, I don't think that's very professional. But I've told Matt, so at least he knows why that things were the way they were. If you know who Dogman is, how do you feel about him getting a film? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what Dogman is. When will the college short films be released? I've been waiting years. Me too, man. I'm working with a composer to finish one of them up, and D Manager and I buckled down and started composing the second one of those. I have been waiting for years to get those out, and it drives me insane that they're not done. Do you think Toho is overdue with giving us a latest proper Godzilla fighting game? No, I don't think so. I mean, there's Giga Bash. I also liked the Godzilla Versus game. People didn't like that game. It didn't do well, and that's the reason you haven't gotten more games. It's because they went, oh, these games are not, they're not making the money we expected, so we're just gonna not do them. About a month ago, I rewatched GMK. I was surprised how violent and brutal that incarnation of Godzilla is. Me too. I always forget. The scene where he atomic breaths for the first time still haunts me. That is such an incredible scene, and that movie is great. I do think, controversially, that movie is a little overrated in the fan base, but I do think it's a wonderful movie. I think it's very well made. It's not my favorite of the Millennium era, but I do think it's a great film. T-Rex, go to film school. Just do some research before you go to make sure you're going to a good one. I'm so sorry, Alpha Dragon. I wish that these ads weren't popping up. I turned them off. I tried. I'm so sorry. Congrats on 10 years. Question, any news on Cloudy or the Fly project? Tony, what an OG that you remember either of those. We have filmed some more Cloudy. We were in the process of filming an episode, and we've obviously I got booted from the one location and wound up here, so that episode we're gonna have to reshoot. There's also been a hiccup in that my brother, who's in that show with me, did break his hand, so that's gonna impact filming as well. And then other than that, we have an actor who moved to New York and is incredibly hard to schedule, but he did a wonderful job, and we really want to work with him again. It was a lot of fun. As for The Fly, that got put on hold big time, and it's gonna, if I get back to that project, which I really hope to, it's gonna undergo some enormous revisions, and it will not resemble what it was originally gonna resemble, because I've had a lot more experience as a filmmaker since when I wrote that script. I don't think I was even remotely prepared to direct that thing when I wrote it. Other than that, I have been working on some other film projects that I'm very excited about, and obviously, like I said, I am a production assistant now working in the film industry, so I do grunt work on bigger projects that obviously are not really associated with me, and so that's why I don't really discuss those, but that's wonderful. It's a wonderful time. I think the reason why that egg, the reason why I think it's that egg is because every Mothra has died before the one King of the Monsters, in that egg at the credits that could possibly hatch off screen and grow up. I don't think it's the same Mothra. I don't think it's the same egg. I don't think they even remembered that egg was in the King of the Monsters post credits. I don't think that it's the same Mothra. Also, we don't know for a fact that the Mothra who gave birth to the one from King of the Monsters is dead. We just don't know. We never found out. So it's very possible she was just lurking in Hollow Earth as a cloud of dust for some reason. Have you ever heard of the movie The Primevals? It was a stop motion movie filmed in the 90s, but just released this year. I need to check it out. It looks how it looks from the trailer. I have seen the trailer. I have been following that project. I think it looks awesome, and I cannot wait to see it. What do you think what do you think they would do with the Queen Muto Barb, since for what we know, she's the last Muto? Not gonna lie, I hope she's either A, plays an important role against a future Monsterverse villain, or B, becomes a Prime. I don't think we're really ever gonna see her again. That's my thoughts, but I love that Muto design, and I'd love to see her again. Bridges exist to be crossed and then double crossed. Vinny, I do feel a little double crossed this year, that's for sure. That sucks. You're right to cease any contact with them. It's ridiculous what they did. I'm not right to cease any contact with them. I'm right to get my reimbursement is what I'm right to do. They have ceased contact with me. A very shady thing to do. And I hope I am gonna, here, right now, benefit of the doubt, lots of stuff is going on over there. I understand there's tons of gears in motion all of the time. Benefit of the doubt, I am not the priority, and all things considered, I'm such a small cog in that machine. It's very possible I'm a cog that got lost and that they understand exists but cannot get to at the moment. That's what I'm hoping, but I'm really, really hoping that things get resolved smoothly, quickly, and they better. Because otherwise, things will have to get actually serious, and that will suck. I will not be happy about that. It sucked being a Goji fan pre-2014, stuck to message forums exclusively. Well, I grew up as a child in that era, so I didn't really experience it the way that many others did. I had a good time during that era. That's where I discovered all the Godzilla films. I don't really have any memories of being picked on for liking Godzilla as a kid, but I do remember kids telling me Kong was cooler / better than Godzilla. I don't ever remember. I never had that experience. People never told me that. As far as I was concerned, everybody was always dogging on Kong, always. Good point, yes, but I have no clue what I'm talking about right now. As a female who loves Godzilla, even when I was a child, kind of isolated me from most of my peers. Yeah, that's an experience that I can't personally relate to, but I'm really sorry about that, Alpha. I hope that you've been able to find a community here. I really appreciate all of your support on this channel. I hope that this has been a good way to engage with other fans. I hope you found friends online, and I hope that now that Godzilla is a little more mainstream, you've been able to find friends in your IRL life as well. But you're always welcome here as part of this community. Did Legendary say no more Monsterverse? They sure didn't. Oh, how's it going, Helm? How's it going, man? I hope you're doing well. I've been doing all right. I've been very busy, but I'm glad to see you're here, and I hope you're doing well. Toxicity kind of comes with a supermassive audience, and for the most part, it's always present. So in a strange way, I'm okay with how much that's grown, and as it shows that the big G has never been bigger. I don't totally know the context of that comment, but I understand what you're saying, and I do think that there's a lot of truth to that. Did you watch Kaiju number 8? I did not. I have not seen it. What is it on? Isn't it on like Crunchyroll or something? I don't have whatever streaming service it was on. I did look it up. I was gonna watch it and I didn't have it. Dogman is peak. You need to read his books. I have no idea what you're talking about. Hopefully they'll release eventually. I don't know what we're talking about there either. Hopefully they will. I agree. I think you're right about the Vortice Rift from Hollow Earth being different color. We have seen a yellowish color in episode 8 of Monarch. Yes, that one also opens up to be blue when the Vortice actually like begins to suck everything in. So maybe the Hollow Earth vortexes, maybe they turn blue when they activate, and until then they have a dormant color or something. Do you think Godzilla GMK would have done more well if they stuck either Godzilla against Anguirus, if they stuck either, I think you're saying if they stuck to their plan of Anguirus, Varan along with Baragon? No, I don't think it would have done better at all. I think the movie would have not done better at all. Cloudy has been in a sort of rough spot, I suppose you could say. I mean, we just put it on just straight up pause when I was in college because there was just so much to do all of the time that I just didn't have time for it. And that was okay. I was so excited to be back filming. And then, yes, of course, we got booted from the location. Kyle broke his hand. And then one of our new lead actors moved to New York and has been very, very difficult to schedule with. But he is so freaking funny in the stuff we filmed with him. I cannot wait to film the rest of his stuff. If we have to change the future scripts from his character being as reoccurring as he was supposed to be to only being in those first couple, then so be it. We'll make it work. But man, he was killing me. He's so much fun to work with. Is there a platform or tie-in that you think Godzilla as a franchise hasn't capitalized on promotionally? Video game space, I guess. I think I agree. If that's what we're saying. I like how they portrayed Lee Shaw as an evil person, and yet he's doing the right thing. He's sealing the rifts from Hollow Earth, so no Titans come. Yeah, I don't think they portrayed Shaw as evil, but I like that they portrayed him as very nuanced, and that there are definitely things that he's doing that are not morally right. But at the end of the day, he ultimately has a very altruistic goal, and his thought process is very noble. I really like flawed characters like that, and Lee Shaw, I think, is an amazing character for the Monsterverse. Most of my friends are online. Well, I'm glad that you have a friend community online, Acno. One thing I hope Toho does for the next Godzilla movie, assuming it's not a -1 sequel, is give Godzilla a brand new roar instead of remixing old roars. Isn't that what they've always done? Haven't they done that for always? Godzilla's roar from 1955 onward was just a remixed old roar. Everyone always says like, oh, the Heisei roar was a new roar. Oh, the Millennium, we had a new roar for the Millennium series. We just didn't. They were just remixed roars just like -1. I loved the minus roars. I thought they were great. Check out the Kaiju #8 opening. It's a goddamn banger. I might have to. I see the Bandai character in stores all the time. The almighty Oreo something, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Not Godzilla related, but have you ever heard of murder drones? I have not. I don't know what murder drones are. Little cartoon characters? Or is this a video game or something? What is this? Oh, a TV show. I have not heard of it. Cute character designs. That's a cool art style that I'm seeing. I have no idea what it is, though. Would you like to see a Kong film where they're the main character? Where Kong's the main character? Personally, I would have Godzilla stay in the human personal stories. I'm not sure I understand the comment, Marco. Would you like to see a Kong film where they're the main character? Where Kong's the main character? I mean, we kind of got that with Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. That is a Kong movie where he's the main character. Have you seen the movie What to Do with Dead Kaiju? Japanese movie came out a few years ago. I have not seen that movie. The production value, when I saw clips of it, I didn't think it looked as good as I was expecting, and I never really pursued it beyond that. Dr. Pepper versus Pepsi, who wins? Oh, Dr. Pepper. I like Dr. Pepper better. Also, DP was our proud sponsor of Godzilla 1985, so, of course. Just watched the trailer to Ultraman Rising. It looks very good. Nice animation so far. IDK how things are going to handle the baby kaiju. I hope it's done well. Gojira Kaiju King. Go check out my review. And then go check out the movie. And then go check out my review again. All of those things in that order is what you should do. It's a great movie. I love that movie. It is my favorite film of the year. Acno, I know exactly what you mean. A lot of my online friends became my real life friends as well. I do personally prefer the older roars, but I can get behind another new roar. I agree. I think that the legendary roar is just fantastic. And if they do another kick-ass roar like that one, I'm down for it. Although the OG is the OG for a reason. They aired Kaiju number 8 live action live on Twitter, and that's how I watched it, except I missed the last episode because it was because I was at a convention. So I had to use Crunchyroll's free trial to finish it. That's crazy that they aired it on Twitter. I didn't know shows were doing that. When I was in year 4 in 2017, the teachers will always pick on me for liking Kong Skull Island, but now look how successful the Monsterverse is. Well, I'm sorry about that, Hassan. That sucks. I remember being a sophomore when Kong Skull Island came out, and it was just the best thing ever. That movie was a breath of fresh air that I needed to really boost me through the rest of high school, and it really changed my entire perspective. And I really, really, really appreciate the positive aspects that movie changed my life in so many ways. And I loved that film. And I'm sorry your teachers were bullies. That sucks. I had friendly beef with one of my teachers in high school over the fact that she rented an entire theater to watch Beauty and the Beast. And I was beefing with her because that was direct box office competition for Kong Skull Island. Sorry if you can hear that background noise. That's my roommate. But I watched SSS Gridman too while I had that trial. I thought that was good. I thought that was good also. Well, I hear good things about Gridman. Kaiju number 8 is on Crunchyroll. I'll say they don't shy away from the kaiju, unlike the beginning part of the Godzilla Monster Planet movies. Well, that's good to hear. All my friends are online as well, Acno. I have RL friend too, but they all live out of state or out of country. That happens. It happens to the best of us. But I'm glad you have friends here, Alpha. I like how Toho and Legendary are edging us with Godzilla video games, but they don't make a Godzilla fighting game the fandom wants. I find it kind of funny. You know what I think is that Godzilla Battle Line is the best video game ever, and I play that game way too often. I have to tell you guys a story really fast. Mr. Nishikawa and I became pretty good friends, which, again, big thank you to Anime Matsuri for making that possible. Thank you for them bringing me out in 2023, the year that they actually paid to bring me out. I really appreciate that. That was a great thing they did, and they should bring me out this year as well. They should, because they owe me. But anyways, I really appreciate the connection they made there, and I will literally never be able to thank them enough for that. Nishikawa and I became good friends this year. We became friends last year. I met up with him again in Japan when I went last year. And then seeing him again this year, I think, really solidified that friendship. In fact, the other Japanese guests from Toho and stuff said we had a very senpai relationship, which I didn't even know that was like a thing that you say outside of anime. And so I kind of had to have the translator explain to me what that meant. But basically, I just looked up to him a lot, and he was so nice to me, and he and I hung out a ton. And there was one experience that I'll share with you guys where I was in the hospitality room with him where we were like hanging out. There was like, it was kind of like a club kind of thing, but we were like the first people there. And he and I were talking. Obviously there's a language barrier. There was no translator. We were talking and kind of the conversation fizzled out. Dalton and I were then talking by ourselves, and all of a sudden I heard it, and I knew he opened Battle Line. So I turned to him and I was like, "Are you playing Godzilla Battle Line right now?" And he's all laughing and he's like, yeah, I gotta do my daily challenges. So then I challenged him to it. He and I played a match together, which took forever to set up. But we finally got to set up a match. We were playing it together, and he just wiped the floor with me, like just kicked my ass all over the place. Immediately after telling me that he was not going to be good at the game, he was like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm not good at this game. I don't play it a ton. I'm not super. I don't have a super good team." And then he just kicked my ass all over the place, and it was killing Dalton and I. We were dying laughing, especially because this was right when Ghidorah the Ride had been put on the game. I didn't even have the character yet. I didn't have him unlocked yet. I didn't even know what he did. But we're playing, and I get down to really low health, and then Nishikawa laughs, and Dalton and I both look up, and he looks right up at us, makes eye contact, and just goes, "Goodbye." And then I look down and see, if you know the game, the Ghidorah animation for Ghidorah the Ride, he sweeps the entire board blasting his gravity beams, and then he jump scares the camera. And that's what happened immediately afterward. And Dalton and I thought that might be maybe the funniest thing to ever happen. And we kept quoting that to each other the rest of the trip. Dalton and I kept turning to each other and just going, huh, goodbye. And then having Ghidorah come and it was just so funny. So anyways, I love Godzilla Battle Line and IMO. We already have a great Godzilla fighting game. It's just a strategy game, not a traditional versus battle game. How they made -1 roar by deciding to play the 1954 roar over a loudspeaker in an empty stadium is awesome. They did something very similar for Godzilla 2014. In fact, if you take the Warner Bros. Tour in Hollywood, you can go to Hollywood, it's here in SoCal. The Warner Bros. Studio Tour, it takes like an afternoon. It's a really wonderful time, and they will take you directly to the little courtyard they blasted the 2014 Godzilla roar from to get it to have so much reverb and epicness. -1 roars were new. People don't realize that all the roars are derivatives of the same 5 sounds from 1954. Legit, the only new roars Godzilla ever got were in 2014. I totally agree. What's up, Mr. Wasabi? Hey, love you, man. Been watching you for like 6 or 7 years. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for sticking with me over these years. I really appreciate all of the love and all of the support. And thank you for joining the live stream. I do like older roars, but I personally want to see what Toho could come up with for a brand new Godzilla roar. I'm all for that. I'd love a sub-variant where Godzilla has a second roar and it's just totally different. That'd be awesome. I'm ready to go back to solo movies in the Monsterverse. I don't think every movie needs to be a Godzilla Kong movie. Turtles, I agree, but from what I've heard, secrets from the inside, they're not interested. At the moment, they're interested in crossovers, unfortunately. I have a friend who made a previous Monsterverse movie, who pitched a solo movie, and they were like, yeah, but where's the other one? Where's the other one? We want both of them in it. And this friend was like, oh, sounds like we're moving in different directions. Unfortunate. So that movie's not going to be made. Alpha, all my friends are online, started as online friends, but then became IRL friends. That's great to hear, Acno. I think Godzilla should stay in the human-focused stories for the solo, while Kong gets more screen time in the movies. Sure, I agree with that. I agree. Kong can carry more screen time, so I think, yeah, it makes more sense for me for Godzilla to have stronger human characters propel his films. I love that you engage with your audience fairly regularly. Thank you, Carl. I try my best. I definitely don't stream as much as I should or want to, but hopefully I can start to do that more soon. Thoughts on what they did to Godzilla's roar post King of the Monsters. Personally, I'm not a fan of how they made how they make his roars sound more trumpety, and that they lose the subtle sounds of from 2014. I definitely miss the ending trill. You know, I miss the ending trill from Godzilla 2014 a lot. I'm honestly not too picky about the Godzilla sound effects. I think that there are far bigger things that catch my attention that I think need addressing, like the story and continuity in these movies, and the tone and the consistency and the world building and all of this, that the roars of Godzilla don't really stick out to me the way they do to some people. What is he doing in the movie industry now? Mr. Wasabi, me, what am I doing? I am what's called a production assistant. So, I do, like, if you need foods, I bring the foods with the craft. I'm not crafty, but I help crafty. I help set up productions. I help move things. I do little runs. If they need this stuff and it's not on set, then I can go get it and bring it in. If somebody needs assistance doing this, then I'm there to assist the production in whatever way needed. So I don't know, that's a pretty vague description, but it's like, that's what you do. You're just, like every single set I've been on, I have done something wildly different. Like I've never done the same thing twice so far. I have a friend who lives in Japan. I had a friend who lived in Iraq. Oh, I'm so sorry, Alpha. I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, I hope you're doing well, and I hope everybody who your friend knew is doing well, and I hope their family is doing well, and I'm sorry to hear that. I do miss when Toho used to make spin-off of kaiju films like War of the Gargantuas and the Space Amoebas, and they did a crossover to Godzilla universes and other media. I completely agree. I wish we could get more solo or just spin-off kaiju films. I want more, especially of the Gargantuas. The Almighty Oreo, thank you again so much for another super chat. I really appreciate that. Will you rap battle Monster Island buddies? Well, I will lose because I can't rap, and I'm definitely not good at improv. Yes, I will. Absolutely. I'll take on Monster Island buddies any day, and I'll win. I'll win with class and grace, and by that I mean I will lose, and for the rest of my days, I will claim that I won. If you had met a actor or movie director from a Godzilla movie who passed away, who would it be? If I could meet anybody who's ever been in a Godzilla movie who passed away, I think I would want to meet Haruo Nakajima, or obviously Ichiro Honda, the director of the original Godzilla, is my favorite director of all time, directed pretty much all of my favorite movies ever. I would love to meet Ichiro Honda. But I think I'd want to meet Mr. Nakajima, just because he's such an inspiration to me, and there's been days where there's just been hard things going on in life, and I always think about how he made himself so invincible and how he powered through so much, and I fight on for his spirit many times. I'd love to meet him. Plus, I just know he was such a lively, fun guy. Would you want to make a cameo in a Toho Godzilla movie as an extra running away from Godzilla or another kaiju? Absolutely. Who wouldn't? Yes, please. I would love to be killed by Godzilla in a movie. That's what I would love. I would love to be killed by Godzilla. When they added purchase gems and piece parts, I lost interest in Battleline. My dumbass still logs in every day for the daily rewards, though. I log in every day for the daily rewards, too. And you know what? I don't know what those freaking piece parts purchase gems do. I don't know what they do. Do they actually work? If you get enough of those stupid little fragment gems, do they actually give you a character unlock? Do they for reals? How do you keep track of that? There's no way to keep track of it. So for all I know, those things are just going into the void. Man, I gotta get on Battleline more. I love playing Battleline. I heard that the next Monsterverse film will be Godzilla focused and may have Destroya. Is there any truth to that, or the internet speculation? As far as I'm aware, when Adam Wingard was going to return for the next Monsterverse film, it was going to be more Godzilla focused. If I had to guess, that is still the case. I don't know anything about Destroya. My favorite variation of the Monsterverse Godzilla roar is the one he gets when he gets blasted by Mechagodzilla's beam. My favorite Godzilla sound in the Monsterverse is when Kong drop kicks him through the building and he goes, "Wow." I love his little scream when he's getting blasted. Zodiac, I already have been Ghidorah Stan 64. That's already been me. So you're basically the gopher. Absolutely, Godzilla 154. That is the entry level position on a film set. That's what you do. Well, man, it's awesome. Who have met on set? I'm dying to know. I've not met anybody that you would probably know. That's not entirely true, but I won't say. I can't say anybody that I met. The biggest thing I've been a part of, I was a part of in the absolute smallest possible way. It'll be in theaters this December. I will not be credited on it because I did not technically work on it. But I was on set and it was a wonderful time. And that's the only thing that I've done that anybody would be able to know any of the things in it, probably. I mean, I've been on other things that, like, if you know very obscure topics, you may have heard of some of the people that have been on set, but it's not like I'm working with Robert Downey Jr. It's not like I get to meet these people either. Like, I'm bringing coffee to people. I'm not hanging out with the actors. To think scrapping a planned plot across concrete was how the distinctive sound at the end of Legendary's roar was made. Scraping a plant pot across concrete was how they made the sound on Legendary's roar? I did not know that. Marco, I did not meet Joji. Who said I met Joji? I've never met Joji. I'd love if Toho took a crack at a Mothra trilogy. Me too. I heard there's supposed to be a remake Toho is planning on doing, the Human Vapor. That would blow my mind. If Toho did a remake of the Human Vapor, that would blow my mind. We gotta restart the petition to get you into the Monsterverse. I would love to do that. Adam Wingard was very aware of that petition. He had seen it. He had seen it multiple times, and I think he had forgot about it every single time. I tried doing that in high school. I couldn't stand it. I wanted to be one helping directing people for their lines for high school plays. Someday I hope I get to make it there. Bro, I swear, did your hair get darker? No, but it's probably the lighting. Normally I have the light like beaming into the camera, which somebody recently thought my camera was like super dirty because it had this kind of sheen on the side. It's not, it's just the light. It can go away. It's just the glare. But it's probably the lighting. Well, you guys are saying that Netflix might have plans to make the Human Vapor. That would blow my mind. I would love that. What are your favorite Godzilla set pieces from Ichiro? Like final battle, like where the final battle takes place. Okay. Probably Mount Fuji from King Kong vs. Godzilla for the Showa series, Heisei series, the heart of Tokyo in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, right in the business district when they're knocking down the Tokyo Metropolitan building, Millennium series, the Tokyo government district during, what is that, Godzilla Tokyo SOS, where they're fighting and they're blasting each other through the Diet building, and then current era Hong Kong. What's your goal after production assistant, AD, or something in lighting, camera, or something else? My goal is actually to start as an art PA. I want to be an art PA. I want to get into art department, and I'd love to work my way through special effects. I want to work on special effects. Marco, I don't remember why I would have shared that information. I did work a Joji concert. I did not meet Joji at the concert. I don't remember ever mentioning that. Yeah, time to suggest it to Grant that I need to be in the next Monsterverse, that I need to get stepped on. If I had a way of doing so, I would. The Almighty Oreo. Oh, I can finally see the rest of your name. It's the Almighty Oreo King. There sure was somebody posted a thing about how I helped Eminem with the lyrics of Godzilla. Somebody did allege that. It wasn't me. Really? Shunogori is in the Human Vapor remake. I will have to check that out. Oh, that's pretty cool. Thanks for the info, Alpha. Alpha's saying that the rest of the Monsterverse Godzilla roar was created by touching dry ice to metal. That's pretty awesome. Sound designers are so incredibly talented. It's just awesome. If you had to choose a city for the final battle in a Monsterverse film, what would you choose? I would go with Dubai for my choice. Well, I like that the Monsterverse is getting very international. I'd love to see Dubai just because of how big those buildings are. That sounds kick-ass to me. I want to see the Monsterverse Godzilla and the Monsterverse Kong battling it out in New York, so I'm gonna say New York. As generic of an answer as that is, and as much as we've seen it get knocked down, that's what I'd like to see. We also got to get the Hollow Earth banana as well. Adam Wingard said he would put the Hollow Earth banana in his next film if he did one after Godzilla vs. Kong. He told me personally he'd do it, and he forgot that. I will never forgive him for that. You mentioned during the live stream talking about Monarch episode 3 all the way back in December. Well, there you go. I don't remember talking about that, but I think that's around the time I worked that. So that makes sense that I'd mention it. No, I did not meet Joji. That's funny. Alrighty, friends. I am going to end here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the support, all the love. Thank you for helping us kick off the bold new era of this channel. Once again, don't get too adjusted to this background yet. It's going to go away because I'm going to be posting pre-recorded videos. I might fast track that Super 7 minus color. I might fast track that one just because it's so relevant. Other than that, like I said, the plan is to kind of alternate between long form and short form. So tomorrow, look forward to a short. Hopefully that will give me enough time to get myself on track here. And by Thursday, I can hopefully be posting long form content again. And then again, hopefully I can start to make, at some point in the future when I get a little more established in this location, streaming a more regular thing. Hopefully the Wi-Fi issue doesn't keep happening like it was earlier today. Other than that, thank you guys all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Yes, Godzilla 154. Goodbye. Ghidorah. It was so funny. It was so freaking funny. All right, thank you guys so much. I will see you guys all next time. Big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you to the patrons I've seen here tonight. I really appreciate it. The Patreon should be linked in the video description or live stream description. I really appreciate it. It is what keeps this channel going, and it really, really goes a long way. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all next time for the next one. D Man